Hello, friends. Let's get to the heart of the matter today. Let's get to the heart of matter today. Let's not do the mind over matter, but let's really get into the heart where the way we experience matter is very different from the way we do it over here. Even if we're trying to overcome matter, it's still here, unless the way we overcome the way we experience matter, because that is experienced through the mind of duality, the mind of polarity, right? Good, bad, right, wrong, sick, well. So yeah, we want to kind of get beyond that. What, but to get to the real core of matter in its in its organic expression as it manifests in our dimension has to come through and from and as the heart. In the past, this is years ago when I was blogging a lot, I would often talk about that the heart is the mouthpiece of God. Because when I go for wisdom, clarity, inspiration, confirmation, resonance, coherence, I go here. So, in that way, it has always felt that this is where the divine speaks to me, as I'm sure a lot of you can agree with from your own experience. um, it's not like, it's not like God is out here using my heart to speak to me. It doesn't, it's like calling. It's like, okay, answer, Pranilla. We're on the phone line. There's duality, but that might be a first step. When we want to step out of duality, it can be very helpful to use, metaphors that relate to duality, just so we can start, shifting and finding a bridge to move from duality into oneness. But the reality is that God, the divine, is your heart. It's not separate. It's not like I have my heart and I want God to speak through it. It's like, no, it is here because we are not separate from God. So this is where it expresses itself in probably the best way we as humanoids, as human beings, can 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 connect with it, can hear it, can pick up the call and answer it here. It is already who we are. It's just that we have been going up here for answers, for whatever, fulfillment, for love. And it can never be found there. It can be found, as a flavor of it or as a short-lived experience of it. But this is where we need to start living in and as us from, because then we are directly, intimately at one with the divine that we already are. So the heart is the place where our fulfillment lives. That's why we feel a longing for that here, right? When you long for something, when you want for something, you feel like, oh, right, that, mm, opening up to it. And then, of course, the mistake is that we think it's out there being here. And then that's why we can never find it. I talked a little bit about it. I think it was yesterday, how we need to have the right fuel to reach the potential that we already are. And again, it's not something that we get from the outside. You don't go to the gas tank and fill it up with something. You go here and let it fill you up with the feeling of your deepest desire, your deepest longing, something that you just yearn for and want. It's a real feeling. And when we go there, I guess I'm maybe expanding a little more on it from yesterday. When we go there, we are right away, we are connected with the divine because the heart is the mouthpiece of the divine. So we need to go to the heart. And then we experience that, we may call it a mouthpiece, but it's just an expression of the field of the kingdom of heaven on earth. It is all one. And you can watch the little meditation I offered not too long ago. I'll put the link here, where we just look into the void by closing our eyes. And from there, you will realize that it's all here. We're just not used to that. We go and say, oh, there's nothing there. We're like, well, maybe we should explore that a little more, because that's the mind saying there's nothing there. But if we go here, this is not separate from that. So that's why you can't say, like, no, there's nothing here. It's like, oh my God, everything is here. And so coming back to the heart and making our hearts, that longing, that deep heartfelt desire, making that the heart of the matter as we want to experience it in this dimension. Then it's not run through the dualistic polarity mind, where there's lack and abundance and disease and health, right? So we always in that duality, and that only happens here. We can't apply that to here. Here is pure oneness, and we can access that any time we want by going in, feeling what we long for. And then in that feeling, that's what I talked about yesterday. I guess I want to say it again. In that feeling, you are immediately connected consciously. You were always connected, but now you're connected consciously to the field where it already exists. And I'm going to use a little funny way of saying it then. It's like when you know you're in the divine shopping store where everything is available at all times freely. So when you go here into the feeling, and then you know that this is the field, you make some kind of a conscious connection with the field. And I think I shared it yesterday too. I believe I did. It's like there's some kind of a click. It's like you really put an energy, the intention that I talked about, that intention of what you long for, it's just like it connects. You don't put it out there because there's nothing to put out, but it's an energetic connection. And now you're in the field. And now that you're in the field or in the big shop of the divine, you've put it out in the universe. It's there. You are there. Now it's just a matter of saying yes, thank you. Yes, please. Thank you. And then receive what the field is. But it is that connection to the field that you will feel inside, like, now I'm there. So it's not done from here. Oh my gosh, this is so powerful when you get that. It's not done from here. It's done from here, where you go, okay, I feel the longing. Yes, I want God connection. And you really feel that with a loving gesture towards yourself, with a like a loving mother who just said, "Yes, honey, that is for you." So if you can do that with yourself, where you really say yes, yes, with a feeling inside, it's so important because the feeling is the connection, and then you are in the field. And when you have a little aha there, it's like, oh, I'm here. And the field feels that. It's like you open up to the field, and then the field can rush in. You don't need to do anything else. Strange, huh? But if you do it from here, you're not connected with the field. You're kind of hoping, and that's, that stuff like, oh, it's never going to happen to me, or, I'm not deserving of it. That's all up here. If that's happening, you're not here. Then some work needs to be done to unhook from the matrix, right? That feeds those belief in you, that keeps you separate from your heart, from the field, from the divine. I don't know if I can say it any more clearly than I am. Maybe I will next time. I'm doing my best to really put clarity and words to something that is a little hard for me to express because it's a feeling, and I want to really invite you to get to the feeling where you send out a yes and it is received. Okay, yeah, it is received. It's like, oh, and it doesn't quite work like that again, but it's a good metaphor. It's like, yeah, yeah, I want that. I want connection. It's like, oh, okay. Now I know what you want. When you were doing this thing up here, it was you were bouncing around and telling me you didn't deserve it and all that stuff. But now, oh, yes, of course. Of course. Now I can feel you. So now that barrier that we had put in between ourselves and the oneness, it's just an idea. It's a mind thing. But when we don't do that and go straight to the source, it's immediately registered in the field. Can you feel that? Can you sense the difference between doing it from here or from here, and how this automatically registers it because you're there, you're in the field, and everything is registered there. What is there when you're there is registered. So you can't register it from here. It has to come from the feeling. And that is why we can probably say that, the here, that feeling is the heart of matter without distortion. That was pretty good. I hadn't thought about that before, but so when you get to the heart, you get to the heart of matter in its natural expression without the distortion of the mind. And that is why I've done a lot of YouTubes in the past. You can watch some here that we tend to ignore, suppress, push away the longing that we feel because of what's going on in here. That's telling us, no, you can't have that. Remember last time, that's selfish, that's not spiritual. All the programming, that's what's been covering our natural connection with our heart and then with the field of oneness, the unified field, heaven on earth. It's all the same thing, and we are not separate from it. We experience ourselves as separate from it because we are still identified with some programming that tells us so. But that's not the reality. That's just, the virtual headset that we all live in, as if that's reality. So it's a matter of getting out of that and then into our heart. And then we go into a place of feeling. It's a very different sense organ. And in there, we can open up to receive what we have previously denied ourselves. I speak from experience always, and that's why I can share it with you as things are unfolding and revealing and surrendering in here. Then I get so much clarity. And I'm doing my best, like I say, to share that with you. And then the clarity, the more I share it, when I share it, I get more clarity. So the more I share it, the more clarity I get. And then I can share it, from that next level. But until then, I want to invite you to spend a lot of time in your heart, listening to it, and very, very lovingly uh, give yourself permission to feel what you long for without denying it anymore.